What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Gravity the Beast. Welcome back to the Big Cap. No bullshit, just conversations about passions, philosophies, and perspectives.
Another one.
You already know. Got the homies. Let me go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Co-host, Twan, neighborhood real nigga.
Real shit.
We always out here.
Real shit.
It's Andre. Like I said last time, if you like what I'm talking about, I got my own podcast, the Fuck Your Opinions podcast. We drop Wednesdays at 12. You can follow us on the gram at f.y.o_pod.
Word.
Hey, you feel me? It's your boy Derek, a.k.a. 39, a.k.a. Lil Man. Check out DDTC Entertainment on YouTube if you like what we spitting, all right?
Right. Okay, so today's episode is just something that kind of been sticking out to me a lot more recently with all these different conversations I have with people when I discuss what it is as far as my understanding of being RP, red pill, like that's what it stands for. So I've seen that a lot of people who may not necessarily understand what it means to be RP aware have certain attributes of a person who is RP aware. But beyond that, it's more so them not being able to see how their actions go against what is really being seen as the norm, go against how a lot of people are moving and evidently failing as they proceed through interactions with women and dating and all these different things, even within society and how we hold ourselves and we assert ourselves. So before I explain it further, like I want you to try to get the point across because I could get a little bit wordy. You know what I mean?
Me?
Yeah.
All right. So it's like basically certain people will do red pill actions without being aware of them. It's like niggas be on some nigga shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they be checking their joint. They might do certain shit in the way they move that would be considered red pill, but they don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's one, Jared, Jazz brother.
I don't know. I think so.
Nah. So basically, he be like he'll do some shit like fuck with her joint and then tell her that he's about to be fucking with other bitches.
Mm-hmm.
Then get caught up.
Mm-hmm.
They'll get mad, but they'll never leave him. That's some red pill shit.
I mean, what they mad? You can't get mad if he told you.
That's a fact.
Exactly. They'll get emotional, but they won't never leave. And now they all know each other. So he's just fucking with bitches. They be mad at each other, but they never leave the nigga.
That's not his fault.
That's fact.
Exactly. That's like a red pill action. And some niggas, and so when you try to explain other aspects of it, they don't understand.
I see what you're saying.
See, now, do you understand? I mean, have you ever heard of the red pill or the
Nah, it's my
ideology?
first time hearing it.
Okay. So within that, in the first video on this page, I was having a similar conversation with a female friend of mine, explaining to her my introduction to it, right? So I guess the greater view of it is understanding intersexual dynamics, how men are, how women are, how we interact with each other, how we're able to be most successful as individuals and as family units, right? Understanding the truth of how things are naturally versus how we move through society and how a lot of different things have affected us and may have changed how we interact with one another. So I would say my first real experience understanding it is the difference between how I was taught to deal with women as far as how you speak. You get to know them in a certain way. You flirt in a certain way. And when you think about your past, your successes, your failures, and then you start to understand what it is that women really want, what it is. As a man, you got to reflect on yourself as well and think about, like, what is it do I want? And then you look around, what is it that most men tend to want? And then you see how we move. Like you start to think about things such as the term toxic masculinity. You start to look at how the feminism movement has worked up until now. And you just start to really analyze society, analyze the world, analyze life. And you're able to move more, I would say, carefully as you go through life, right?
Like militant.
Yeah, I would argue, yeah, because I feel like a man needs to understand that he should be disciplined. He should understand what his purpose is. He should become the best version of himself that he can be. But then even deeper, like it gets controversial when we start talking about women, and then what is it that women want versus, like that's where it gets.
Nah, it's just crazy because I'm going through this like right now. Like I'm finding it, I'm reflecting on myself, relationship that's happened, whichever one it is right now. It's just reflecting, and I'm thinking about all that's going on, and it's crazy that I'm here like the stars aligned or some shit. I'm talking about some shit like this,
Right?
Because it's reflecting, and I definitely said it the other day on Fuck Your Opinions, is the discipline that we have to go through to get to these actions and move the way we need to.
Yeah. Now, before we continue, what's your thoughts, bro?
About like the whole, I could definitely see a whole lot of niggas do red pill shit and then don't know, cause I didn't know what red pill, blue pill. I ain't know none of that shit till last time I was on here with y'all, and then that's when I came to the conclusion like, yeah, I consider myself a red pill nigga, but it is times where red pill niggas may do some blue pill shit.
Sure.
But I feel like a whole lot of niggas have their red pill moments unless you out here fully simping for niggas. Well, bitches. Because it's a certain way as a man you want to put off your masculinity so that you don't seem weak.
Yeah.
So I feel like everybody got that red pill energy and has red pill.
Well,
What would you call it? Like,
try not to conflate the idea of the red pill with masculinity itself.
yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's like that's how it would come off to some women. They'll be like, okay, he putting his foot down. He's a real man. He's masculine. So in that sense of masculinity, how it might come off from the woman's point of view, because they say they want somebody that they can walk all over and do this and do that, but they don't really want that. They want you to put your foot down and have that red pill energy.
Yeah, see, and it's actually kind of funny you say that. I agree with you, right? Wholeheartedly. But I highly doubt any woman is going to ask for red pill energy. It goes against our natural mating processes, right? So when
They're more attracted.
Oh no,
to red pill
I'm
energy.
saying
Okay.
that those actions. Agree with you. Like I said, wholeheartedly. It's just about the level of honesty as you move through it, right? So real quick, as a man, right? What would be your ideal? Would you, if you could, and this is a question more so than getting into a personal answer, so yes or no, right? Ideally, would you like to be able to have enough money to support yourself, have a good life, have a family, and be able to provide for your family?
Yeah.
And if you were to have a wife, be able to provide her with the option not to work. She could like raise the children. If you had enough bread and you could support that, would you like to be able to provide that opportunity?
I gotta stick to a yes or no answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, and the reason I say stick to a yes or no is because, of course, nobody wants a lazy person. Nobody wants to feel used and all these different things. But I ask that because it's in our nature as men to provide, to work hard, to do these different things, right? And we find fulfillment in that. And we try to build and we become better. We try to take care of our families and do whatever it is we can to provide the best life possible for the people that we love, right? So that's our nature as men. We tend to be more violent. We tend to be more logical. We tend to move in different ways. Now, on the female side, women tend to be more nurturing. They tend to be more emotional. They tend to be better with children, better teachers. Women, more often than not, hit a certain age, and a lot of them, not all, but a majority, tend to want families. They want to find a husband. They would like to be able to be a housewife. And not even to use that term because there's a lot of negative connotation around the term housewife, but most women do not want to have to work after they have children. And most women want children. And when we understand these different things, like if we establish it step by step, most innate base nature, women want to find the best man they can. Men want to get with as many women as they can. We also want to, you got something to say to him? All right. We also want to do more. We try to do more all the time. We try to get stronger. We try to get more assets. We try to do all these different things. Now, that's what we naturally want to do. And the more you do that, the more you're naturally attractive, because women want the best. The more you have, the better you are, to some extent, right? So if we get that, it might clear up certain things just on the most base level. You know, like if we stop believing that, oh, there's a person for everybody, right? Which is not true. You know, there's more women than there are men.
Mm-hmm.
So every man can get a woman. If every man had a woman tomorrow, there's going to be a bunch of lonely women still.
For sure.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because men are naturally going to want more than one woman. Men want variety. Not necessarily saying you're going to wife more than one woman and have multiple wives, but at the end of the day, we're more sexually driven. We tend to want variety. We tend to want different things, where women tend to be more emotional. They want the best they can. They will get attached to somebody who they value high and respect, and if they find somebody else that they value higher, emotions dwindle for that prior person. When you understand that it's not about emotions, it's about literally being the best you can be, things make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
You start to move better throughout life. Once you understand that we communicate differently, things get better. Like, what's your thoughts, Twan, to chime in?
I feel like that's a very important thing to touch on. It's like when you better yourself, better options come to you. So, like, the higher you go in life, you'll probably, what you found attractive down here probably won't be the same level
Up there.
up there.
That's a fact, though.
Because you have more options. You have more access to higher level shit or a higher level woman because you worked on yourself. Women wait at the finish line. That's what they do. Women will wait at the finish line and then pick and then go for the winners.
I mean,
And if you understand,
That makes
That
perfect
That
sense.
does make
though.
perfect sense.
That
Yeah.
makes perfect sense.
they wait at the finish line. So all you got to worry about is being fastest. Then you get to pick the best.
Shit.
see, I agree, but
It's like working on
sounds
yourself
so-
gets you everything you want. What do you mean? What does it sound
It
like?
sounds so like, well, let's put it like this. I agree 100%, but I'm trying to relate to the people who don't necessarily think first. A lot of people feel first. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Meaning, all right, so, all right, it's a great example here. But just as far as that, I want to just preface that you can't necessarily get mad at that, men or women. You have to understand that it just is what it is. Now,
Don't get bitter, get better.
facts. But a lot of it is when we talk about society and then when we talk about communication with women, a lot of women won't necessarily admit that. They would rather tell you it was something emotional, something that's more sweeter, more acceptable by society, opposed to saying, well, he won, so I chose him. I just needed to preface that. It just sounds, the way it sounds, a lot of people get messed up by that. Now, to respond to what you said, I have a perfect example, right? I'm going to ask you 3 questions, right? Should women be punished for their bad behavior?
Yeah, anybody should be punished for their bad behavior. Yeah.
Okay. And then, should people be punished for their bad behavior?
Yeah.
Right. And then the third question is, if you had a problem with the first question, are women not people or should they be treated differently? Those 3 questions created a bunch of different conversations for me.
Repeat that?
Okay, I'll repeat all 3 questions.
Nah, just the last
Oh,
one.
just the last
Just
one?
the last one.
If you had a problem with the first question, then are women not people or should they be treated differently?
Bars.
And that got me into an argument. I was getting cussed out,
Yeah.
all these different things.
That's crazy.
So-
Gonna take a shot to that
the
one.
words
Yeah.
you use in those first 2 questions, from the change from woman to people, make a big difference.
Yeah.
Because people get offended when you ask that. Will get offended when you ask the first questions because it's like, okay,
It's like an
why are
app
you
button.
singling women out?
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
then that second
Yep.
question, you're talking about everybody, so it's okay.
Yeah, and that was the issue, right? Because personally, my first reaction to those 3 questions, exactly like you. When I hear, should women be punished for their bad behavior? My first thought, well, anybody should be punished for their bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, like anybody should be punished for their bad behavior. Plain and simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
when I spoke to different men, just at my job primarily, friend group, Facebook, stuff like that. I'm not acting like I did a whole study or whatever. This is my personal study, whatever. So everybody had an issue with the first question.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I had one guy say, nah. I was like, what? And then he thought about it and kind of backtrack a little bit.
All right.
Had some other people that was like, just nah. And it was like, well, yeah, but you said women and it, whatever, right? And then I asked the second question.
They said yeah.
They said, yeah.
Without hesitation.
Right.
It's because they acted off
And then-
emotion
Now, Pete.
with that first question. When you said women, it made them feel some type of way.
Yes.
But once you change the word to people, they're like, okay, I can answer this the way I actually want to.
Exactly. That's the point. You're hitting the nail on the head right now, because when I asked the third question, everybody else was they didn't really know how to get back at it. And then when they explained why they answered those questions the way they did, it ended up being, well, I mean, the way it sounds.
Yeah.
I don't like the word
I don't
punishment.
like the word punishment.
Punishment does sound
Punishment
bad.
does sound crazy.
And then we've actually done a pod about this where it got to the point where it's like we have to Google the definition of words. So it's like to punish.
I'm
Punish.
about to Google it.
Like see, I not right now, but what I remember the definition being is repercussions, essentially,
Repercussions.
right?
Yeah.
Repercussions for
Yes.
I forget, like a bad act of something.
Of something.
So
yeah.
so the whole point in that, it's not like most people hear the word punished and they thought physical violence.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
just
That's the
sounds
first
bad
thought.
off rip. Yeah.
But then when you really think about it, not necessarily. I mean, you're punished when you speed. It's called a ticket. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're punished when you come home late. It's called being locked out the house. Like you're punished when you spend too much bread. It's called I
Being
can't
broke.
pay my rent.
Yeah.
Like I can't. Like like there are repercussions.
Yeah,
for
there's
bad
consequences
action.
to everything.
To every
Exactly,
action.
right?
Yeah.
So that right there, everybody's innate instinct to just say, you know what? Nah, I can't. Like, not women. I can't say, nah, people, yeah. That right there, that's society.
Can I explain why that is?
Yeah.
Okay, but because it's like when niggas hear the word punishment has like a negative connotation,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and so like in society we're taught to put women on such a higher pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like any negativity is automatically chalked.
Yeah.
Even though if you would have said it better, if you'd have said it different, so
Yeah.
it doesn't seem as negative.
As angry.
Yeah.
But what word would you use in replacement of punishment, even if you wanted to find a different word? Because I don't think any other word gives off the vibe that you need when you say punishment.
Yeah.
Sure. But it's like that's why certain niggas can't accept the red pill. It's like that red pill dissonance. Because it's even niggas we consider to be like they practice red pill shit to a certain extent, still got mad at this same question, or they couldn't understand it.
I think you grow out of that.
Yeah, it was yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope. I think you only
As your
grow out of that.
experience with women grows over time, I feel like.
I'm growing out of that
Oh,
slowly.
One of the people I asked these questions to was an older man. Same reaction, like gray hairs, older.
To the first question?
Yeah, all three.
All through.
Like same.
But
'cause
I feel like
that's what I was doing. I was asking each of them the questions back to back, saying
Uh-huh.
I asked you and seeing their reactions to it.
Mhm.
And then I had like another person. I'm like, yo, let me ask you the same questions. Now them two is talking about it, and they both explaining the same thing about the feelings. I stopped somebody else. Hold up, yo. Asked them the question, an older dude this time, and they was like, see, he agreed with us. Like it was the older dude that agreed.
was
with
it an
them.
older black man?
Yeah.
I feel like that plays a big part in it though.
Okay.
Because in a certain era of time, it was so bad for us as black people that punishment
Yeah.
in women, black men didn't want to put those together when it
Okay.
came to black women just because it was so bad.
Mhm.
But if you would have asked an older white man, they're like,
Fuck
yeah, she needs
You
to
know
be
what?
punished.
That's actually. an
So I
interesting
feel like
point.
it'll
never thought
vary
about
from era that the person was raised in and also their race.
That's interesting. I never really thought about it, but I could see that being a factor, though, for sure. But it all goes into the overarching theme of it, though, because when we look at people being aware of our natures and how we move, stuff like that it goes against nature. Like nature has repercussions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you creep in trying to get somewhere that you shouldn't be and you get caught slipping, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if the gazelle was drinking too much water and the lion just pull up on that bitch.
It's over.
I mean, look, you shouldn't have been thirsty. I mean, you
Right.
got a drink, but you should have waited. I mean, it just
Should have been patient.
it's repercussions for things. But when we, like, society is teaching us not, and especially with women though, it's teaching us not to enforce repercussions for negative actions, you know. And then when we look at the sexual revolution and we start seeing like the sexual market change, quote unquote, you know, where under normal circumstances in the past, women were less promiscuous by nature. It's not to say that they wouldn't be more promiscuous if they could have been, but there were things in place that didn't allow that, you know. Women would be shamed for different things. There would be less opportunities. I mean, on the extreme end, when we talk about the past, like women couldn't work on their own. They needed to have a husband or else they could not provide for themselves.
Yeah.
I feel like those rules were like with great power becomes great responsibility almost.
What you mean?
It's like as women, their sexuality is their greatest power.
Okay.
And yet now I feel like in today's society they're low-key able to abuse it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
But it hurts them in the long run.
Yeah.
But when they're at their peak, they're able to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And it's just like, in order to stop that inevitable climb, it's just like, yo, use your powers to the best of your advantage. Find the best that you can get type shit.
Yeah. See, I feel like the issue there, and that's like kind of sliding into a different aspect, but the issue there is the amount of options we currently have versus how much we should naturally have. I mean, you could argue that technology is giving us some type of evolution. Like I've heard people say, yo, if you got a phone in your pocket, you're an android.
No.
No, like literally, really think about it. If you have a phone in your pocket, you have access to the time, you have access to so much information and knowledge, and you apps that can track your body. You can do all these different things from your phone. What makes you different than an android or a cyborg? Like
I don't got no metal parts.
you do, it's in your pocket.
I can toss that out.
So could a cyborg. Not to say they would survive afterwards, but they could. It's an
Like a
amalgamation.
pseudo cyborg type.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
when you really think about it, it's all about understanding how much access we have. So within that, back in the day, if you got a small village, right, you might see a woman that's like, damn, she bad.
Yeah.
Your whole taste in women is based around however many women are in your small town.
And vice versa.
Vice versa.
A girl could see what she deems as the strongest man, but
Highest
it's the
value.
strongest man in about 25 to 50 miles.
No cars.
Opposed to, you could probably go on the gram and find 100 people richer than who you're currently fucking with.
Who
Yeah.
fly
Even when
you
it
out.
comes to the,
Who'll
even
fly
when it
you
comes
out.
to the millions,
Yeah.
it's like you could have millions, and still there's probably 100 people who's just richer than you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that right there, that amount of options, it just makes things worse. I mean, because you could, like, I've heard people take it to certain extremes where they say women were oppressed and it was done necessarily for their own good. And I'm like, yo,
I've
so
heard
many
that
women would
before.
want to cancel me for even saying that. But then when we look at things now, it's like, hey, back in the day, women were happier. There are studies that have been done where we see women now who are older, got their own money, and don't have any children are unhappy as fuck. And then even within that,
Like on the depressants.
well, I'm not even talking about that. That's a whole nother side where they talk about it's a certain percentage of all
I
women
think
in
it was
America
like-
who are on antidepressants.
Yeah, it was like the most prescribed group
Oh.
for antidepressants are 45-year-old women with no kids.
Mm.
And they probably make around $50,000 to $100,000 a year.
Mm.
And in order to get in that study, you had to be on prescription for at least.
Oh yeah,
5
yeah.
years.
No, yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Damn.
I remember that.
So it's like they probably been on it since 30,
30.
at 35
30,
at least.
35 at least.
And that right there, that kind of goes into understanding certain aspects of that. So right now, when we see the amount of options that we all have as people, our perception is skewed. when it comes to women. They always want the best they can get. That's understandable. That's nothing to fault them for. But now when the best they can get is supposedly endless in their minds, and we're in like a point now where, and this is a double-edged sword, where sexuality is like more, I would say at a point in time it was more taboo. Whereas now it's more normalized, even though it's still partially taboo. Like it all depends on what it is.
Yeah.
So within that, right, people, well, I would say women kind of feel as though their sexuality is enough. Whereas you can be the most beautiful woman, but then a guy's just going to want to have sex with you. That doesn't mean anything for long-term relationships. Like, what value do you bring to his life? You know, like if a dude is in a room and he sees 10 different beautiful women, that's amazing. Cool. And even more amazing is if all 10 of those beautiful women want to be with him. If he has the option, he's going to be with all 10 of them. At the point he's told he has to choose one of them, he's going to choose the one that has the most benefit outside of the thing that he got from them already. He got the same thing from all of them already. If I'm picking to keep one, why am I picking you? And in the same instance, if a woman got multiple suitors, why is she picking you? Not because of dick, because all these niggas got dick, and all she got to do is say yes to get dick from all of them.
That's true.
That's a fact.
So why is she picking you? Do you understand her? Do you understand how to make her happy? Do you understand how to provide for her? Do you understand how to do all these different things? Because if you can't, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Now, simpler world, it's less comparison. Bigger world, endless comparison. A dude is going to smash as much as he want to smash. A woman is going to get as many higher level dudes as she can, and she's going to do it until she finds the highest level dude. I feel like the main issue is that men are just going to be sexual, so we could probably live our lives, get our jobs, smash random women, never have a quote-unquote family, but as long as we got good work and we doing well within our lives, we could find happiness for the most part. We could still want a family, and not a lot of dudes are going to do it, but, you know, dudes could adopt and still be a father and do that and pass on their legacy, so to speak, right? Whereas a woman can't necessarily do all those same things. They're going to run out of time to where their power is going away. And then that causes more chaos. It causes bitter women. It causes women that are younger to continue to do more thinking they got forever time. And then we got bitter young men. And then it's just a cycle of bullshit. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
It's like ignorance is bliss.
For sure.
To a
Depending
certain,
on what it is, yes.
Because it's like they also did a study where there was like women with over like 5 to 10 bodies
Oh, yeah.
are less likely to keep marriages, are less likely to be happy, and more likely to divorce than a woman with 0 to 1 bodies before she gets married. It's like if I'm the only
one.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's like if I'm the only experience, I'm the best at this point. You don't know any better than me. So you're more likely to be content and stay with that one person.
I thought about
funny
it. I
'cause
thought
had a
about that.
conversation like that with my mom and Ashley. Weird enough, because Alexis had said something along the lines of everybody needs a hoe phase. But I'm like, if you don't have one, then whatever person you run into that you like for who they are, their sex is good enough because it's the only sex you ever know.
Yeah.
So if it's the only sex you ever know, it can't necessarily be bad. You don't know bad sex until you've had better.
Yeah.
So the whole phase is useless in my opinion.
I won't say useless. I'll say detrimental to a large extent.
I think it's forced for some people because I was told a couple years ago, like, yeah, you got to go through it. Like, you just have to.
As a man,
As
or
a
woman?
Man is different.
It's different.
Nah. I still disagree. I feel like it's
Dig into that though.
I still think it's like a person to person basis because it's all about your experience as a person up to that point. It's like, do you really have to do that? Like, because like you said, it creates endless It gets to a point where it creates endless comparisons in that field. Like,
Okay,
because
all right.
I was gonna say
Mhm.
the most genuine thing that you can do is just it's unfortunate because barely anybody doing it, but just two people, zero bodies stay together. It's like
I feel like for men, it's different
wow.
because you can never really truly figure out if you want to be with a woman until you already smashed. It's like, it's that post-nut clarity.
I disagree.
No, it's that post-nut clarity. You truly see her for what she is as soon as you bust that nut.
I see what you said.
Because that whole time you were driven by that natural desire to smash.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you smash multiple girls, you get to figure out, okay, I like her for this. I like her for that. You get more experience with women. You get to choose and see what exactly that you want.
That makes sense. What if it's like you smash these different people and it doesn't do that? It does the opposite. And if you would have just,
What do you mean it does the opposite?
like, if you was to just smash that one person, people would actually be patient, smash that one person, and you appreciate that so much more rather than thinking, oh, well, this person did this person did this person did this. That's why I don't like this. That's why this isn't enough.
Are you talking sexually or
I guess
in a
so.
relationship?
No.
Can I chime in, please?
I'm just
Okay.
talking.
No, I'm with you, and I understand your current mindset. Even though I disagree with it, I hear it a lot, and I'm actually glad you're verbalizing it, so I could just kind of try and prove a point, right?
Yeah.
So within that, I don't think. Well, you said it's person to person. You feel it's person to person, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel it's completely different based on if you're a man or a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, earlier what I was saying is like I could somewhat understand it because it's kind of like going to an ice cream shop, right? And you want to try different samples before you pick one to buy. Now, if women are going to have a bunch of bodies, I can to some extent understand wanting to try out different options before settling on one, right? So that's important. I get that, right? But then when we talk about like being happy in the comparisons, it is going to be better if you have less bodies and less to compare it to, at which point you could hope that the man that you choose is the best out of your options, right? Whereas for men, I agree with what Twan was saying if you're moving towards a woman and you have not smashed, we're naturally sexual. You're going to want to smash and you're going to act somewhat. I'm not saying completely, and I'm saying the more experience you got, the less likely this is to happen. But for the most part, most men will, to some extent, act out of character in the pursuit of pussy. And once you smash, like women say all the time, he was like this until he smashed and then he switched up. And that's a lot of societies because men want pussy. We're taught certain ways to get it. Or maybe we end up getting it and we see that this woman didn't provide the value that you required her to in your life. If this is somebody that you thought was cool, she was worth getting to know, and you're moving like that, cool. But then most of the time when you think she's cool and you're getting to know her, there are certain things that you're overlooking in pursuit of pussy, at which point you get it, and maybe those things don't necessarily matter. She's still cool, and she provides certain value to your life. And a lot of the time, guys are tired of whatever it is, was, and they move forward. But understanding that as a man, you have to have a certain amount of experience in order to properly value a woman, because of our lack of experience, we're going to be less likely to see what is of value. Less likely to properly say, hey, you are worth having a child with. You are worth having for the rest of my life if you're a marriage type of person. Whereas a woman, she is going to get things easier. She is going to attract the man, at which point it's all about attracting the highest level man. The man needs experience in order to pick the right woman. The woman doesn't need experience to attract the right man.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
As a man, you are way more likely to settle than a woman would. Just for the fact that you're getting pussy.
I see what you're saying.
It's a reason why they got the stereotype niggas, they fuck with these fat white bitches. They be fuck with niggas fuck with 4 or 5s because they got pussy and it's consistent and they don't have to work. They don't got to worry about rejection from another joint.
That makes sense.
And they get consolidated and they settle. Then niggas turn 30, 35, go through a midlife crisis talking about, I done settled for her. I got as much bread. I got way more bread. I'm
Right.
I'm doing
because men get the older that they are, the older that men get,
Yeah.
the higher their value goes.
Yeah.
So
Under ideal circumstances,
Yes.
you gotta actually work hard and be disciplined.
Yeah.
You can't be a bum and raise your
yeah,
value.
on
because
average,
of
you
age.
should have more money
Yeah.
than you had at 22. You should have more money at 30 than you would at 22. type
Definitely.
shit.
For sure.
You should definitely be at a higher status in life
Right.
Yeah, you
at
supposed-
30
you
than
supposed to grow.
22. With women and their most powerful power being sexuality, that declines the older that they get.
Mhm.
So it's like you didn't settle for a joint that was low, and then she got even lower as all you did was raise.
Mhm.
And then you fucked up in life. You got 3 kids, and now you're unhappy because you feel like you could get more.
That's
Yeah.
when niggas fuck around and cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so it's like, in order to truly understand and find value in women, you have to deal with multiple women.
Now, what's y'all thoughts on that?
You was about to say something.
Because like that view makes it seem like sex is the most important thing that a woman has to offer.
No, sex is the first thing a woman is gonna offer you. I would say to some extent, right? After that, she offers you other things to
Yes.
make you keep her in your life.
I said it's the most powerful. It's not the only thing. It's the most powerful because if we're going to keep it a buck, no man rarely approaches a woman just trying to be her friend. Never.
That's a fact.
Most women
Rare-
get
rarely.
approached because she's attractive.
Mhm.
People date for the expectation or the possibility of sexual intimacy.
Right.
That's what it is. And so, but it's those other, it's like, that's why men are not deemed as hoes and women are. It's like, if you fuck 20 bitches as a man, that means 20 women allowed you to fuck. As opposed to a woman, you let 20 people hit.
Mm.
It's different. In order to, it's like, that's why the other things is what makes niggas stay. And I feel like sex is most powerful, but it's the most powerful, but it's not the most important. Because it's the other aspects that make a man stay
After that,
after sex.
Okay, but my thing is, how is sex the most powerful if sex is probably one of the few qualities that a woman may have that can diminish over time?
What do you mean by
Because
that?
a woman could be perfect across the board, but sexually, y'all say, or as she gets older, her sexual power will diminish.
Yeah.
So how is that her most powerful asset? I feel
Well,
like sex
it's
is the thing that brings you in, but the power lies with whatever makes you stay after having sex with.
I would say the value is what makes you stay, and that power is still power, but it's the power to attract, not the power to retain. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, the most important things are all those things that you were saying. Sex diminishes.
Yeah, that's what I said, powerful and most important.
Yeah, because it's definitely the most powerful. The first thing you notice is how much you want to have sex with a girl. That's powerful. After that, what's most important is what makes you stay with the girl. It's most important.
It's like the power's so strong, you can't realize until after you done bust your nut.
Exactly.
You can't see her clearly till you bust your nut. Because the pussy was too powerful. You was trying to smash. She looked good.
That's understanding, and it could, and that's where a lot of people don't understand. Men are just driven. We have a higher sex drive. I forget the exact amount, but we have
17?
17
10 to
times-
17 times?
10 to 17 times the amount of testosterone that women have. Like, there are literally accounts where you have female bodybuilders who have taken testosterone and they report how higher their sex drive is when they do so.
It's like
Which is only
they
a
can't
portion of our
fathom
every day. Yeah.
that men feel like this all the time. It's just like, yo, they couldn't live like it. All women say is like, I couldn't live like this.
That should be unprovoked.
It's like
half the time.
imagine
In class.
Yo, imagine
teacher
you
be
got
ugly.
a gun, right? Imagine you, all right, and this is just a thought that I came up with, right? Women are walking around the Old West with AKs on their hips, and they don't even know it. they've never seen a gun, they've never used a gun, but they got AKs on their hips in the Old West.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of motherfuckers out here with some one shots and some six shooters and
Your little revolver.
some little shit, and they looking at that like, oh shit, you see how many bullets that is? She doesn't even know she got a gun. She just walking around and that's power. She don't even know she got it. She just got it, and she get the benefits of it. And it's like every time she walk up to somebody, it's damn near like she robbing them. But they don't even. She don't know she doing that. Like they just they see that, and they just move. It's a certain amount of power,
Right.
but it's not necessarily realized. Now, some women realize it, and then they pick that gun up and they aim at niggas, and they get what they want.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah.
as time progresses, bullets is dropping the further you walk.
Now I really
You can
see the
pick a
whole
destination.
your
Like, pick a
power
destination.
aspect of it.
Because you're going to keep
That's a-
walking,
That's a good way to explain it.
and by the time you're ready to shoot, you ain't got no bullets left, and you mad, waving this AK around, you might attract some niggas, and they see you ain't got no bullets, and they out. And that's it. I mean, I think it's interesting because, like, you have to respect power. And when you understand the power that you hold, you're able to make use of it. And I feel like that is kind of, that's a lot of the misunderstandings that we have. Like, whether it be like women in their sexuality, men in their focus and their drive and their discipline and ambitions, we don't understand what our power is. Like, I've heard a lot of stories about like a guy who was getting some females back in high school, back in college, back in whatever. They get in it, whatever, they're attractive, cool. Then they get a little older, they ain't really got bread like that. And then, like, yeah, you might be able to attract certain ones because you look good, but then what is your value? Because as a man, you were going off of your looks, cool, all right, but you weren't focusing on
You
your
ain't gonna
main
get
value.
nobody to stay.
Yeah, you ain't focusing on your main value as a man. And then even then, when you take the step into women, it's like, all right, if you want to do what you do, you got these like foodie dates where you literally go out just to eat and you don't have no intentions with this guy. Like, you got one dude that you focus on for attention, one dude you get dicked down by, one guy that helps you fix your car, other dude takes you to movies. All right, I mean, but hurry up and pick one. I mean, if you ain't, like, look, it's a difference. A man got to build his value. A woman got it already. So she's having fun making use of her value, wasting it. Whereas a lot of dudes, they're just not even building value. They're just living life struggling
Yeah, it's like in the
and
club.
bitching.
Women get it for $5 for women, $20 for niggas.
Free after time.
Yeah.
Free backstage.
before
It's a lot of privileges that women get just based off their sexuality that men are not getting at all. It's just not going to happen.
That's true.
But it is what it is, though. I always say, don't
But
get
that's
better,
why
get better.
it balances out. Over time, the more you accumulate as a man, you raise your power. And then women are born with power, but it diminishes over time. So it evens out.
See, now,
Like with the gun analogy.
yeah.
I view it as women are walking around with the same AK. Bomb ass, great AK. Niggas got knives, but they can upgrade their weapon.
Yo,
Over
yeah.
time,
Nah, you got to find a knife.
It's like
yeah, you got to find a
Start
knife.
off with your hands.
You gotta-
You gotta loot some shit.
gotta go
You gotta go
break-
here,
buy
this
some
do
more
that, and the
shit.
third. It's like
I work
finally
for
I got my
the
AK.
Yeah, I work for the AK.
It's like
I'm
those other
mad.
qualities. A woman can only like upgrade her bullets, maybe her attachments, but it's the same old AK. After a time, it's gonna start jamming.
Well,
But she can cook, she can clean, she could do all this other.
got some
She got the
grenades.
FMJ bullets. It's like all she needs is one auto tracker or some shit.
see,
Man, we could just get the fucking light machine gun up millions of dollars. We just letting that shit off, brand
we
new.
got a tank.
See,
Facts.
and just to keep it within that particular analogy, I would say it's not to say, because like we said, the reason I brought up the AK was to kind of get into the power aspect of it.
To show the power that woman held.
Yes, but I don't want to get anything misconstrued there, because it's not to say that as a woman gets older, she holds no value at all, because we already established the sexual aspect, that's power. It's powerful, most powerful, but it's not the most important. So that is just a reference to power aspect. And if you utilize your power, cool. Even though you might not necessarily increase in value sexually over time, that's not the most important. It's about maintaining your value. The more times you shoot this gun is wear and tear. It's going to take maintenance and cleaning. It's not to talk about. I mean, if you come at me like pristine value with mad bullets, then bet that's crazy value. You run out of bullets, I mean, you're going to run out of bullets. You're going through life. I mean, if you maintain your value, you keep it clean and maintain. But once you run out of bullets, I mean, it's pretty much done. And then even worse, you run out of bullets, you still have some type of value just as a quote unquote gun, female, whatever. But if you haven't done proper maintenance, the gun's falling apart.
A man can augment the AK for you.
It is what it is.
He can hook you up, raise you higher.
And that's kind of like to say, even once you're old and dusty, your woman is still going to have value to you if you chose the right woman. Even if you out of bullets, you can still have certain values. It's just about understanding. A nigga is not going to take a broken gun. A nigga will use a gun until that shit's falling apart and maintain the parts as it gets fucked up. Like you can't. I will take care of my old gun. I'm not going to buy one.
Yeah.
You got to be a man's favorite gun, man.
But what about the women who gonna never shoot no bullets?
Best. The gun is in
But,
pristine
like,
value. You got all the bullets in the storage. Like you that's crazy value.
How long does that value last? You never shoot the gun, but you're still getting older.
I mean, look, a gun in the box is a gun in the box.
You don't got no kids, no.
If you keep a gun in a box for 100 years and you take that gun out, I'm like, I guess at that point it depends on how good that box was. Was it airtight? Is it dusty in that bitch? Because
I mean, of course it's gonna get dusty, but it's just like
inside.
It takes a lot less maintenance than a gun that's been overly used.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I got to clean you up a little bit and bang, good as new.
So like,
Suppose your shoulder strap broken, your shit misfire because the latch fucked up.
So a young ran through gun has less power than an old unused gun.
Honestly, yeah, the wear and tear, and it depends on how old, but as long as you
What'd you
maintain
say?
the value.
A young ran through gun, shot a lot of bullets, has less value or is less powerful than an old unused gun.
What got more wear and tear?
It depends on. It's like the analogy is very, but yeah, for a certain extent. What is young and how?
I don't know.
Uses
ran through.
Yeah.
I'm saying wear and tear because if you unused, then that's ideal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, this was a fun analogy though. We kind of got deeper into that, right?
Yeah.
But
Got some understanding off this joint.
A lot of this conversation is like about the RP dissonance, right? So we've been discussing what the RP is, what it means to be RP aware, and like just a couple of different examples of how society might make us feel a certain way about how we talk about it. So here, just for this, I'll ask you this question. Well, I'll make this statement, and I want your take on it, right? I said all women are sexual objects until they prove otherwise.
That was a whole pod. Go ahead, answer this.
All women are sexual objects.
Big cap, no
they
bullshit.
Prove otherwise.
I gotta think about that.
What do you?
I guess I'd have to say I would have to say I agree.
Okay.
Because if I look at initial thoughts, when you look at a woman, it's basically in your head, smash or pass.
Right.
Am I gonna fuck you or am I not?
Right.
And then if you're gonna fuck them, you approach them, and then what happens after that lets you know if they're more than what they got to offer.
I see what you're getting at.
From a sexual standpoint.
You can't even disagree with that.
That goes into we refer to a lot of pods. I'm glad you're on here because it's like usually we talk with niggas who low key done been already here for these conversations. So here the new take is definitely good.
Yeah.
Cause like that's why I brought up post nut clarity. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's just like smash or pass. If it's smash, you're gonna move a certain way, then it is pass.
Yeah.
Once you bust that nut, now you're looking at her neutral.
Right.
And that's really
You can see shit clearly.
the rain is gone.
Like he had the Platonic Friend podcast. I wasn't on there. I missed that one. But he was like, you're more likely you'll treat an unattractive woman like a random man. for the most part.
Oh shit! Hold up.
But it's like,
Think about that.
don't mean disrespectful. It means like, yo, a nigga call up and they might ask you a question and y'all niggas just get to the rapping. He might be cool, so it's like y'all talk and then y'all just dip off.
Yeah.
You'll treat a unattractive woman probably in the same manner
As a bro,
as opposed to unattractive woman.
like a hoe. Let me stop. I'm sorry. I was just playing, but you get what he was saying though. You get the
Yeah,
point?
nah, I
Yeah.
get that.
Because like that, and honestly, within that was inspired by my whole thoughts on like the term "let's just be friends."
Mhm.
Like if a person is into you and you say, "Nah, let's just be friends," well, what does that really mean? I mean, you know, I would say this happens a lot less than females, but there have been guys that might have said that, you know, let's just be friends to a woman. But a lot of the times it's more so women saying it to guys.
Yeah.
But we got to ask, what is a friend? Like an actual regular platonic friend. What is that? And what differentiates a friend from a romantic encounter, right? If I have come to you with a romantic gesture, if I've offered you romantic attention, well, can we be friends after that? I mean, like, yeah, you could argue, yeah, like she turned me down, so I stayed friends. Well, I know,
Nah, because you're hurt on the
on
low.
the low.
You're tight.
And
What's
even
that?
deeper than even deeper than that, how could a woman respect you if
She turned you down.
she knows you're okay with not getting what you want?
Yeah.
That's
As a
Damn.
man, I think you brought this up. How could you truly respect you if you're okay with not getting what you want? She knew you wanted to fuck. She's like, I don't want to fuck you. How about I give you this instead? Let's just be friends. Okay, I'll take that.
Nah, that's
Cool, let's just be friends.
'Cause that-
How can she
that
respect you
shows-
after that?
That shows you don't have your standards in line. Like,
So you ain't got options.
nah,
Or
I
it's
see
like
what you're
you don't,
saying with
you
the
don't
options.
value yourself enough.
Yeah, you
You
don't.
don't value yourself enough to be like, okay, you don't want me, so I don't want nothing to do with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this the thing, the dude that gets put in the friend zone, like he expressed his feelings and she was like, nah, but we can be friends. She asks the most of that nigga because she know he has interest.
He'll do
and
it.
He will do whatever she wants him to do in hope that he gets out the friend zone.
Right. Friend zone is like men created the friend zone because they didn't want to go back home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that's some bullshit. Like I used to believe in the friend zone. Now I just think it's a bunch of desperate niggas. I've been a desperate nigga before. I ain't gonna front. I done been in the friend zone, and I realized like, yo, they don't want you, fam. Like, why are you still here?
Mm.
It's like I heard somebody say this about marriage, but I think this applies to like dudes trying to get with chicks. It's like, yo, if you try out for the basketball team and don't make it, do you show up for practice?
Fuck no. You're not even allowed in the practice, bro.
So it's like, why are you friends with this girl that turned you down? It's like that's showing up for practice when
You didn't make the
make
team, but
But
Yeah.
you're gonna be the
I'll be-
water boy.
yeah,
gonna
I'll
be
be
the water
manager. Can I work the scoreboard? I'll work the scoreboard for you.
Nah, I'm
Nah,
not
you
worried. I'm
just-
not working
You look like
that
a
shit.
hype ass,
Yeah.
dick eating ass young boy at that point.
No value.
But like within that, so we could talk about that aspect, right? But then it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Like another statement that I had made, right? That a lot of people that don't understand the RP, like they might not necessarily understand where I'm getting at, and some people might, but for the most part, a lot of people are like romantics and all that shit, right? So I said there's no such thing as unconditional romantic love.